is just fantastic.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Before we start, there's a brand new video on Omegon 2. I also put out a short on this channel. Now if you'd like me to do more shorts like that in the near future with the Warhammer stuff, let me know and I'll happily post them on this channel. I'll also be streaming here later because there's some world stuff that's getting quite tasty and commentary is required. Today we're going to be diving into a video that was shared via the H3 Reddit because the Redditors have decided as things are going down, whether it be Frogan close to defaulting, Denims and Caseytron still being bell ends, quite frankly, and Hasan getting called out every way which but loose now, some of his contradictions have been compiled into one video, and it tickles me to no end. Now, a term I hadn't heard until recently was the cuck chair, and I know some of you are now saying as you unsubscribe, but Meg, what is the cuck chair? It's the chair that's sat next to and behind Hasan. It is inferior quality, it is smaller to make them look shorter, although he is quite a large bloke to begin with. It solely exists for them to be background noise, to make him uncomfortable, him to get fed up and sound even more bored than ever when he replies to them or to his chat while they reply to him and them. Yeah? Okay, cool. So let's have a look at the compilation of contradictions. Oh, and of course, smash the like. It helps the channel, thank you very much.
Where it was like, oh, you don't like Teddy Fresh? You sent skulls to my house.
I think I can speak for the majority of people with an IQ over 1, so basically no one smooth-brained, when I say there was nothing remotely funny about sending those skulls to Ethan Klein. There really wasn't. Criticisms of his wife's business is a separate criticism altogether though, because Ethan's not involved in it. But this is where the contradiction comes in, doesn't it? Because there is a contradiction, not only in your perspective of Teddy Fresh, but in how you justify your mannerisms, your behaviour in this, and what people have done to try and intimidate. Your cuck behind you, by the way, so desperate to be like you. It's quite tragic. I guess you do need a sycophant to make your streams more emotionally energetic.
How dare you say you don't like my wife's adult baby clothes?
That one. Yeah, no, I want that.
The Teddy Fresh rug.
I need to get that.
You want one?
Yeah.
Done.
Definitely.
With all the fashion pose things that Hasan has done in the past, under the guise of it being a hobby, when some of these clothes he has posed in once or twice cost hundreds, nay thousands of dollars, I think I've seen him in one of those brown shirts. I just can't find the picture to back it up.
Oh, I want that one too. What about the top? Okay, I want that. Okay, I want the socks, and I want the swim shorts, and I want the Flames camp shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, what about the green ones? What is that?
Like when we're making women's, we're like, would you wear this?
Yes. The answer is like almost always
Well, what
yes.
about this?
Yeah, I want
It
those.
does like that.
I want those.
So there is a bit of a gotcha here. Yes, he has represented Teddy Fresh in the past. In fact, when I googled Hasan Piker Teddy Fresh, my page was littered on image search with him posing with Instagram shots of him repping Teddy Fresh. When that relationship soured, I fully expected him to completely, not necessarily disavow, but never be seen in those clothes again. That's not to say get rid of them, just in a public setting, not wear them. And then once things went truly out of, well, the realm of sanity, then discard the clothing because he wouldn't then want to be seen as a hypocrite. Although it's equally likely to save the planet, let's call it that. He simply put them in a storage unit for the time being until either he's irrelevant and desperately needs clothes to wear, or he has them in case he ever needs to make a tent. Someone his size requires a little more fabric. Let's go with that. The other side to this is, when they have stopped being friends, he does not have to say anything positive about Teddy Fresh, but it would be advantageous to him to say, yes, at one point I have repped Teddy Fresh, but now I cannot condone because of my disdain, irrationally born out of my lack of ability to think properly, towards Ethan Klein and Healer Klein, who has taken far too many strays from everyone involved.
At a time, in
That's
this troublesome
murder.
time.
That's murder, bro.
In this troublesome time where I've had, as a Jewish man, skulls sent to my house.
It's not even
in
that he has it, it's
CPS.
like she helped. Because she said this thing, she's a part of the snark, the giant scary thing that's all around me that did skull stuff and did CPS. It's like, I don't know, it's like a guy that's backed into a corner.
The amount of reach and mental deflection, the gymnastics involved, is quite astonishing from the peanut gallery. And I call the individual behind Hasan the peanut gallery, because they're not even on Hasan's level. Orbiters rarely get to his numbers, his echelon, as it were. They need Hasan for their points, their gratis points, nectar points, right? The club card points, to try and elevate themselves and hopefully in the winter get enough vouchers together to buy a decent meal. At best, the people sat in the cuck chair are a meal deal of a plain ham sandwich and ready salted crisps with spring water. You are that bland. And your ability to try and deflect the situation and laugh off the skulls. I'm not suggesting you be on the receiving end of it, but until you've understood that or experienced it, you really don't get the kind of threat that represents to you and your family. Lucky for us, though, none of you have your own family to worry about protecting. Maybe it's for the best you don't. You're all far too single-minded anyway.
Alone in a room.
Story of my life, really. Send likes. My feelings.
When you get on NPR, it's because you paid, but he's not on NPR. He's paying like random Substack writers to write AI articles about how, it's anti-Semitic to not buy his clothes.
Okay, there are a number of things we need to address here, because it's his wife's clothes, not his. He has no input at all. We know this for a fact. Second, I guess everyone's anti-Semitic then. Congratulations, everyone. We achieved it, did we? Is that achievement unlocked? Or do we have to go back to the start and do another run? I don't know. It's a tricky one. Third, if the AI article assertion is to be believed, surely you, Peanut, in the cuck chair, have a citation to verify it.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is this shit is like, this contributes to anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
Very a lot.
So anyway.
It's cheapening. It's saying, anytime a Jewish person, something happens to them that they don't like, they just call it anti-Semitic. That doesn't mean anything now, so now I'm anti-Semitic. Like that process is these types of things like facilitate that.
What sucks about this discussion is that Hasan doesn't so much contribute to when someone else is talking. He waits for him to finish so he can quickly crack on. He has nothing to offer that discourse, which is really irritating, but also understandable when he has nothing between his ears. The commentary from the Peanut in the cuck chair is fascinating, but it's coming from a place of absolute, genuine ignorance because of how stupid he is. The cuck is, anyway. The Peanut in the cuck chair. And comes across as very ALEX, Jones, conspiracy territory. With words being overused, pejoratives, ad homs, misinterpreted, misunderstood, many words that are often considered have lost all their meaning. And a lot of it is because of people within this realm of the internet.
Sort of not really in the inner circle, despite wanting to be.
I don't think
This is a straight up bar for bar. Shame on you, Dan. You know that you are repeating something that the sex pestiny community has cultivated. You are literally saying that bar for bar. That I have told Ethan Klein 10 toes down within the framework of Israel doing a genocide and a regional actor trying to take action against Israel doing a genocide. The Houthis are right. They are correct.
Houthis claim that what they are trying to do is fight against the alleged expansion of Salafism in Yemen and for the defense of their community from discrimination. They are designated by the US Department of State a foreign terrorist organization. Understandably so, because they are disgusting. They are Shia Islamists, they are extremists, they're terrorists, they're backed by Iran, and they control 1/3 of Yemen's territory and more than 2/3 of the country's population. And how do they control them? Fear, pain, suffering. And you back the Houthis? This is how we know you, Hasan, are so removed from sense and sensibility.
They're correct in a naval blockade.
They're the only ones following international law. Exactly.
Because I do care about anti-Semitism.
Firstly, Houthis are not. They only buckled because Donald Trump, well, he annihilated them. And they still haven't really buckled, let's face it. You say you care about anti-Semitism, you don't. And you don't believe Israel has a right to exist. At this point, that is verifiable. You can claim one thing when it comes to them defending themselves, but you actively have ignored what happened in Israel in October that led to this spiraling the way it has. I'm not going to justify what's going on with Gaza and the people of Gaza, I'm really not. Although there are now videos online showing that the UN have delivered care packages and it's been left in the sun to rot. I wonder who's to blame for that. The UN, of course. Sarcasm sign, is that required? You don't care about anti-Semitism. Unless It's people following you blindly, agreeing with you wholeheartedly. The moment they disagree with you, because of your own cultural interpretation, not because you actually understand what goes on in Israel, you suddenly go in on them, you go for the jugular, and you justify all attacks against them.
He doesn't. He just wants to weaponize it against not even like critics of Israel necessarily, but it usually is critics of Israel, obviously. But but it's more so just people who fucking make him feel bad.
Boys, and the panel of great anti-Semitic fucking lunatics. So, by the way,
Is no one gonna push back? Are there no? What happened? Did their mics get muted? Like,
No, their mics weren't muted. Turns out a vast majority of people agree with Ethan, and he's now at the stage in his career where he no longer has a reason to care about those that disagree beyond showing them his middle finger and a lawsuit when they take advantage of his content. You got lucky. You didn't even have the balls to watch the whole video. People aren't calling him out because they're on a different side. Even your own audience don't even bother to go brigade him, or whatever it is, downvote his stuff. Whatever it is when people go and leave negative comments, because your audience are too lazy and put you on in the background as white noise.
I know none of those motherfuckers in the room feel that way.
You saw how, like, even he on his own got to the point of talking about you, and that riled him up to the point where, like, he's yelling. And they didn't even say anything. So I'm assuming challenging him on that point on anything to do with you would result in, I'm pretty sure it has. He kind of freaks out. So it's like,
Yeah, he does.
The vibe of the show are so fucked, because it's like, everyone's like,
Okay, so Peanut is still wildly asserting. We have seen commentary from some people who work for Ethan that disagree with aspects. He hasn't fired them, but the assertion is there as if it's some kind of toxic work environment. That's the argument. You're inferring with nothing to work with. It's poisoning the well 101, a weak-ass tactic from a smooth-brained moron.
I don't want to say anything about this because this guy's going to freak out at me. And
Insane to like take a fucking ongoing genocide and actively turn it back to like your own personal distaste for your former podcast co-host because he made you feel bad when he was gently trying to explain to you that you can't call like Jewish Voice for Peace capos.
The picture that you may have seen on the screen that Ethan had put on his Instagram story is a harrowing picture, and I'm sure it affected a lot of Jewish people who saw that and are like, nah, this is not okay. Using it to make a point against Hasan, I will agree, is not an ideal thing to do. At the same time, all the points he is making are true. You have never condemned Hamas. You support them, the Houthis and Hezbollah. You are so openly in favor of what is absolutely disgusting, abhorrent behavior. The people of Gaza will suffer for as long as Hamas refuse to see sense and surrender. I don't want that to happen for the people of Gaza, of course not. I want them to be free of terrorism. You can't even be bothered to call that out. Because why bother when it's more lucrative to go after Ethan Klein and Asmongold instead?
Like, if he had listened to me in October 2023, okay, and respected me and wasn't so deeply Islamophobic and a massive piece of shit, he wouldn't be in this situation right now. He wouldn't be looking like a 40-year-old man who just cannot comprehend that this is beyond him and myself.
You're right. It is beyond you and Ethan, of course it is. Over 1,000 people died that day. Where was Ethan ever going to see sense? The Jewish people were massacred by a group of extremists. Some taken hostage and killed, some made to dig their own graves, like in the picture, and at no point have you ever sought to simply condemn it. No, instead it's Israel should never have done this, and this. We in the West cannot for a second think to understand the vast cultural differences and how war works. Because we live in a very peaceful environment comparatively. You have massive privilege that protects you from so much consequence in this world. You thinking you can placate when something that absolutely abhorrent happens is astonishing. You have the emotional range of a rat tail, solely designed to inflict pain when damp.
Palestinians. Okay, Well, then what's the difference between you and Benjamin Netanyahu in this regard? You are saying the exact same shit that he's saying.
And it's not like the Hitler drank water argument, right? Where it's like these things you're doing are unrelated and the comparison isn't unrelated. The talking point and the propaganda you are saying is the exact same propaganda that's being used to justify the genocide. They're not unrelated. And when the propaganda you're using is...
In May of 2021, there was a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. There are a number of theories that there were still attacks ongoing and there were some incidents that were still taking place. In October 2023, Hamas killed over 1,100 people in Israel and took more than 200 people captive. What kind of attack do we call that? Just out of curiosity here. I'm not going to justify what you consider the genocide to be or be drawn in on whether it is or is not. I just want to highlight the fact that 1,100 people were killed and 200 taken captive in direct violation of a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. The word consequences, I'm not going to justify it, I'm just going to state that is a guarantee when you violate a legal agreement.
Used in service to attack pro-Palestine advocates, then you're doing exactly what the state of Israel is doing in committing a genocide. You're running cover for it. You're propagandizing for it. You're normalizing it for millions of people on the internet, and that's that's why we say you backed it, is because there's only two options really. Right?
Yeah.
That's my favourite part of this entire video. The fact that Hasan had nothing to add because he doesn't know what to say. So he has to move on instead. He also doesn't really like having people on his show with him. Hence, the cuck chair for the peanut, who yet again is so blind in his belief that Israel is solely in the wrong that he can't, like Hasan, condemn what Hamas did. Neither do it. And this clip shared on the Reddit was great at showing a number of contradictions from these two. It's embarrassing. If you want to get involved in international geopolitics, go nuts. But at least have the balls to admit when you don't understand something. And a lot of this doesn't need much in the way of, let's say, understanding. Something wrong happened, something massive has happened as a consequence. It is also wrong because of how far it's gone, sure. But that first thing, that spark, in direct contravention of an agreement, is disgusting and was always going to lead to this. And I don't like it, but it's reality.